The Georgia Bulldogs are just a few days away from their season opener against Oregon in Atlanta, but as you all know, recruiting never stops, and the Bulldogs got some late fireworks here today as they landed commitment from one of the top offensive line prospects in the country in high four-star Monroe Freeling. He's the #1 prospect in South Carolina out of Oceanside Collegiate Academy. This is a guy who is a consensus top 100 player in the country. He is a top 10 offensive line prospect in the country, a borderline top 5 offensive tackle in the country. He is a big deal for a lot of reasons. Georgia beat out Clemson, South Carolina, Florida, Notre Dame, and a few other schools to land his commitment. And again, this is a big deal for a lot of reasons because he is easily, without a doubt, in my mind, the best offensive lineman that they have right now in the 2023 class. He gives Georgia 19 commitments in the 23 class right now, and he becomes their 4th offensive line commitment, joining 4-star tackle Bo Hughley out of Langston Hughes High School in Atlanta, 4-star offensive guard Kelton Smith out of Carver High School in Columbus, and then 3-star interior offensive lineman Joshua Miller out of Virginia. So a guy with length and an excellent frame, 6'7", about 285 pounds. Still, plenty of room to add more weight and more muscle, but he is long, he's lean, he's athletic, and I think he is a possible multi-year starter at left tackle for Georgia in the future. I think this kid is really, really good. If you turn on the tape, he doesn't play against the best competition, but dude just dominates. Whether he's opened up holes in the run game or whether he's protecting the quarterback, he is just putting guys on their butt each and every play. I can't link his huddle to this video due to copyright issues or whatever, but I suggest you go and watch the film. Again, it's not a great, it's not against 4- and 5-star guys, but it's every play. This guy's doing his job, making it look easy, just mauling guys, pushing them 10, 15 yards backwards and doing it until the whistle is blown. So I think he has really good footwork. He plays with a balanced base. He's flexible, moves really well for someone 280 pounds. He can pull and, do a lot of different things for you in the run game. And when he's coming at you, he gets there in a hurry and he comes with some force. He's strong in the lower body. Of course, he's got length. He's got those long arms. And when he gets his hands on guys, it's over. He's driving them backwards. He's putting them on the ground. And I remember seeing him in February at the Under Armour camp in Atlanta. Did not know at the time how big of a Georgia target he was. And I feel like at the time, Georgia wasn't pushing for him as much because Stacey Searles was not on board yet. Stacey Searles landed his commitment because he's been recruiting Monroe Freeling ever since he was at North Carolina. So he's had an established relationship with Monroe and his family for a while now. So he was, Searles' top target at North Carolina. He came over to Georgia and continued to recruit Monroe and his family really well. They got him and his family on campus in late July for the annual barbecue weekend in Athens that they always put on to in the summer. So this is not a guy who took an official visit to Georgia back in June like I think pretty much everyone else did, right? The plan was for him to take an official visit to Georgia sometime this fall for a game and then decide afterwards. But I think Kirby and Stacey Searles really pushed for that commitment, and he obviously didn't need that official visit. He knew he wanted to be a Bulldog, and he jumped on board. So, again, there's a lot to like about his game, and his best football is still way ahead of him. This is a guy who, again, is going to get bigger and stronger, and he's got the size already. He's got the nastiness. He finishes his blocks, and I think his potential is sky high. There's a reason he's a top 100 player in the country, one of the top offensive tackles in the country as well. And this is a guy that Georgia really needed. I was never really worried about Georgia's offensive line class. Bo Hughley is a really good player. I still think he has a lot of development to do. Can get a little handsy, can hold at times, and he's also a guy who's flirted with Auburn a little bit. I do think he's going to sign with Georgia when the time comes, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if he started to take some visits elsewhere this fall. So I would not call Bo Hughley 100% committed to Georgia, although he told me face-to-face when Georgia did not have an offensive line coach at the time during that Under Armour camp back in late February. He said, I'm signing with Georgia. That's where I'm going. I don't know who the offensive line coach is going to be, but I'm signing with Georgia. But a lot of people think that a flip would not be surprising. I still think he's going to sign with Georgia. But I think Monroe Freeling is better. I think Bo Hughley is probably more of a right tackle where Monroe Freeling can play left. Kelton Smith, I'm not super sold on him. I still think he has a lot of progressing and developing to do. He's, again, a low 4-star for me in my eyes out of Columbus. And then Joshua Miller is a guy who did not really play well in the opening weekend. His team out of Virginia came down, played against Collins Hill at Milton High School. And Collins Hill has a kid who's a freshman over there who I think is going to be a 5-star in the 26 class, who had 2 sacks against Joshua Miller. So I don't know if he just wasn't ready for the level of competition, but if you're going to Georgia, you should not be getting beat by, although he's very talented, and again, a guy who I think is going to be a 5-star in Deuce Gerald's. You can't let a freshman beat you for 2 sacks. I think Collins Hill had 8 sacks in that game just a couple weeks ago. So not the news that I was kind of hoping to hear or wanted to share with you about Joshua Miller. So I do think that 3 guys that they had on board all need some developing to do, and they have to get better. I think Monroe Freeling, who, again, still needs some developing to do himself, is probably going to see the field first, even though he plays tackle and a left tackle, and you never want guys to play early at left tackle. Guys like Andrew Thomas and Isaiah Wynn, they don't just grow on trees, right? It took Broderick Jones a couple years to establish himself as a starter. He's a former 5-star. Now he's a left tackle. Marius Mims, this is his 2nd year. He still hasn't cracked the starting lineup yet. We'll see what it looks like on Saturday against Oregon. I don't think he's going to start, but I think he will one day. But that being said, this is a big pickup because I was somewhat questioning the offensive line class so far, and Monroe Freeling gives them one of the best offensive tackle prospects in the country. So big deal, and to beat teams like Notre Dame and Florida and Clemson and Miami, I think, is the team that they probably beat out, in the end. I probably came down to Georgia and Miami, and Miami is using NIL really well. They're recruiting on a different level than what they used to be, doing a few years ago. So they know what they're doing, and they went hard after Monroe Freeling from what I was told. But yeah, Georgia was able to land his commitment. And, ever since that final weekend visit, that final weekend of July, if you've been on DawgPost, you've been reading what I've been writing about it, and that's that I thought Georgia had taken the lead there. Though, again, I always thought the plan was to take this further into the fall, but when he said a few days ago, hey, I'm ready to make my commitment, I immediately called Dean, said, hey, we got to get ready for this. I think this kid has been leaning towards Georgia for a while now, and we do have quotes from a family member over on DawgPost over on the story that should be up right now. So, some interesting quotes there, to say the least, on why he chose Georgia, his relationship with Stacey Searles, and what made Georgia special, basically. So make sure you go read that story. But at the end of the day, really big pickup on a guy who I think they really needed, and I've written about that for a while. If they want to have a strong offensive line class, they need to land this kid Monroe Freeling, and ever since that last visit in July, I thought that was going to be the case. And again, when he was ready to make a commitment, I thought Georgia was, without a doubt, the team to beat and the team that was probably going to land him. So, Sam Pittman was probably the best offensive line coach in Georgia football history. Matt Luke was pretty good too, and now Stacey Searles coming on board and getting his number 1 target, basically. It says a lot, and I think that there are plenty of solid offensive linemen in the 2024 class too that they can go after. So I do think Georgia's offensive line room is going to be very good for a while now. I've said it for all offseason. I think that they have the best offensive line probably in the SEC. Maybe Alabama's is better, but I don't know. I think Georgia is incredibly deep on the offensive line. And whoever wins, though, the left guard position, I think is the only one up for grabs if Tate Ratledge is healthy and playing right guard. But Broderick Jones, question mark at left tackle. Is it Xavier Truss? Is it Devin Willock? Is it Amarius Mims? Or whoever else wins that job there? I think Jared Wilson is a young guy who's turning some heads at center. You have one of the best in the country, Cedric Van Pran. Right guard, Tate Ratledge, I think, if he's healthy. And then Warren McClendon, arguably the best right tackle in college football, starting his 3rd year. So multi-starter there at right tackle, guy who just does his job each and every play. So they've got an excellent offensive line, room right now, and the addition of Monroe Freeling gives them an elite offensive tackle, in my opinion, in this 23 class, with a few other guys on board who are talented, but still, with size, but still need to progress and develop before I think they see the field a good bit. But again, high 4-star pickup. I think if you're Kirby Smart, Stacey Searles, and the staff, you are very, very happy about this one. If you're a Georgia fan, obviously watch this video. You need to be happy too. This is a big, big pickup and one of their highest ranked commitments right now in the 23 class. So big, big deal. Monroe Freeling commits to Georgia over Miami, Florida, Clemson, South Carolina, a bunch of other schools. Big deal, guys. Thanks for watching this video. As always, stay tuned to the next one coming up right now, and I will see you over on Dog Post.